One of the best ways to build speed, eliminate tension, and gain control of your playing is to practice licks with bursts of speed. On today's lesson, I'm going to show you guys a cool lick in the key of E minor that's going to have you speed bursting your way into Shredsville in no time. Check it out. Well, hey there kids, and welcome to this week's installment of Weekend Wankshop. Here's your best buddy, Uncle Ben. You know guys, it seems like a lot of your classic speed building licks and exercises have you playing non-stop, 16th notes or 16th note triplets at really high speeds non-stop. I just don't think that's the way to go if you're trying to build up your speed. The problem that I've seen with a lot of these non-stop high-speed exercises is that players can develop tension that they aren't even aware of because they're not giving themselves a relaxed frame of reference to compare their high-speed playing to. On today's lesson, I'm going to show you guys how to play a cool lick in the key of E minor that's going to help you gain speed and control while also learning how to identify and eliminate problem areas in your playing. This lick has you alternating between some burning sextuplets and some more moderately paced 16th notes. That way you can compare and contrast your high speed playing versus your medium speed playing and work out any bumps that hit you along the way. But of course, before we get into the lesson, let's hear it again at stepdad speed. As always, you guys can find full tabs over on my Instagram page at Eller Guitar. Search for hashtag Weekend Wankshop 230. Find the tabs for the lick, learn how to play it, then upload a video of yourself shredding through it along with the hashtag Weekend Wankshop. And of course, downloadable tabs and the short backing track that I made at the top of this video are available to my Patreon supporters over on patreon.com/BenEllerGuitars. I've also just uploaded a very special supplemental video to go along to this one that's going to be available to all of my Patreon supporters. Even those of you guys who are just on the $1 level will have access to this exclusive, super awesome video and the accompanying tabs that go along with it too. In this lesson, I'm going to show you guys how to take this speed burst concept and apply it to a more, let's say vertical E minor scale pattern, something as you're going across the strings like this as opposed to like this. Another great thing to add into your practice routine, start generating some sick ideas. Okay, let's get to breaking this lick down here. It's in the key of E minor, which means it's E, F sharp, G, A, B, C, D, E, and it's all gonna be straight up alternate picks. So down, up, repeat. That is the magical picking pattern that we're gonna use for this entire thing. Some of you guys might not know some of these rhythmic subdivision terms that I'm using. I'll explain those as I go along here. But the first lick is gonna kind of encapsulate what this entire thing is about. Start off here on your D string and you're gonna play 2, 4, 5 2 times in a row. Now that right there is 6 notes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Down, up, down, up, down, up in the picking hand. And basically this is gonna be played as a sextuplet. Sometimes it's also called a 16th note triplet. Basically what I'm trying to say here is that all 6 of those notes should fit across one single beat. You might try saying triplet, 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 triplet across a beat to get a feel for what that sounds like. I'll kind of tap my foot here so you guys can hear that sextuplet feel. So after you play that 6-note burst, what we're going to do is change to the G string here and play 2, 5, 4, 2. 2, 5, 4, 2. That is 4 notes right there. And these should be played as 16th notes, meaning that all 4 of these notes should fit across one beat. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we've gone from having 6 notes across the first beat to 4 notes across the second beat. So that's kind of your little cool down period right there, which is what we're going to use to really analyze our playing and isolate what problem areas that we have whenever we're changing from high speed to low speed. So basically this first lick right here encapsulates everything you need to know about this lick. 6 across the first beat, 4 across the second beat. Triplet, triplet, 2-beat and triplet, triplet, 4-beat and triplet. Again, straight up alternate picking the entire time. I recommend just kind of isolating that first chunk of the lick right here and getting that down really well before you move on to the next section. We're going to jump up a position in the scale. I'm using the D string this time on 4, 5, and 7. Again, just playing it 2 times, 6 across a beat. And then on your G, play 4, 7, 5, 4. So you got kind of this matching symmetry of the fingering patterns on those 2 strings there. 4, 5, 7, and 4, 5, 7. Next, move up to the G note in the scale. We're going to be using some more symmetrical patterns here. This is 5, 7, 9 on both strings is what we're going to be using here. We're going to play the 5, 7, 9 on the D string twice as our sextuplet. And then on the G string, play 5, 9, 7, 9. Next, we're moving to the A note in the scale here. On the D string, you're going to play 7, 9, and 10 twice. And then on the G, play 7, 11, 9, 7. This is the first of a couple of asymmetrical patterns we're going to have on those 2 strings. So 7, 9, and 10, 7, 9, and 11 on this string. You know, you can use your 1st, 2nd, and 3rd fingers to play that first shape right there. I'm not going to call the pinky police on you. It's what Guthrie Govan would do, and that's my excuse for doing it that way. If you want to use your little finger though, that's totally fine. Be my guest, as they say in the Disney realm. Next, go up here and play 9, 10, 12 on the D twice. And then on the G, play 9, 12, 11, 9. Again, asymmetrical pattern here. Now we're going to jump up here to 10, 12, and 14 on the D, 2 times. And then on the G, we're going to play 11, 14, 12, 11. Notice how my first finger kind of snuck up. Like that. Then you're going to move up to the D note in the scale, symmetrical patterns here, 12, 14, and 16. So 12, 14, 16 twice on the D. Then on the G, you're going to play 12, 16, 14, 12. And then we're going to end up here basically an octave above where we started. D string, 14, 16, 17 twice. And then on the G, you're going to play 14, 17, 16, 14. And then lastly, I just resolved on the B note on fret number 16 of the G. Just for some nice resolution, because that's the 5 of an E minor chord, so sounds cool. So the entire lick, position by position, is going to go like this. Spicy. Now, to start using this lick to eliminate problem areas and tension in your playing, what I'm going to want you to do is to take a single segment of it and isolate it. So in other words, let's take like the first section. Notice I'm just playing on repeat. Now, the next thing you're going to do is whip out your metronome here and find a tempo where that sextuplet, the 6-note burst, is just starting to push you a little bit. I'm not saying like find an impossible, undoable speed, nor am I saying find a speed where you're just falling asleep at the wheel and it's effortless. Find one where you've really got to stay focused to stay on top of it, you know what I mean? Difficult, but not impossible. Now, that number on the metronome is going to be different for everybody every single day, so just be honest with yourself and try to find what is just barely starting to push you today. So after you found that magical number on the metronome, what I want you to do is to play that segment of the lick over and over non-stop for a couple of minutes straight. To demonstrate, I'll set my metronome to 80 BPM. Now, because I'm not typically in the room with you when you're practicing, this is where you've got to learn how to become your own body monitor, for lack of a better word. When you blast into those sextuplets, I want you to start becoming very aware of anything that is changing in either of your arm hands. Do you start fretting harder? Is your thumb pushing harder on the back of the neck? Do you hold the pick tighter, or change your pick angle, or hold your breath? I see a lot of players like hold their breath when they do something hard, which is a recipe for disaster. Is there any new tension that gets introduced into your body whenever you play the fast stuff? That's the question you've got to ask yourself as you're doing this exercise. A lot of players I've seen do any or all of those things, and they're not even aware of it because they're just playing fast all the time without any frame of reference of a more relaxed way of playing. these tensions become the norm because that's how they practice, and those things can cause problems and even injuries along the way. I'll give you an example of a problem in my own playing that I was able to solve using speed burst practice like what we're talking about today. I started noticing several years ago that whenever I would play fast stuff, I would get this really shrill, like washy sound like that. You can hear the pick really catching the string, and it also sounds really shrill and terrible. And I absolutely could not figure out what was causing this until I started practicing, some really focused speed burst stuff, where I would go from maybe playing, eighth notes to sixteenths. And what I noticed is when I would go into the sixteenths, my whole hand would kind of tense up. Do you see my thumb kind of pulling back like that? It's not a matter of adding angle to the pick or anything like that. This was physically pulling it back into my hand, which is putting the pick closer to the bridge, and more importantly, kind of changing my pick angle to like nearly vertical through the string. It's like when I was playing slow, I had this good 45-degree angle, but whenever I'd start playing fast, that thumb would bend and take the pick to almost a vertical thing, which is what was causing that totally shrill, awful, scratchy sound on the string. Now, I didn't notice it before because when I was playing non-stop fast, I wasn't aware that I had changed anything. You know what I mean? That just kind of felt like normal fast playing to me. But when I would compare it and contrast it to relaxed, slow playing, then I'd be like, oh wow, I'm definitely changing something, But it's only whenever you're able to hold that mirror up and say, how do I play when I'm relaxed? How do I play when I'm playing fast? That you're able to identify those things that you're changing in your own playing and start correcting them. So by practicing these speed bursts over and over, I was finally able to unite my relaxed picking angle and my fast picking angle and start earning the respect of my real dad again. And so can you. There you go, guys, a cool lick and new practice mentality that'll hopefully have you guys blasting off into new horizons of speed in no time. If you guys liked what you saw in this video, be sure to like it and subscribe to my channel for new lessons coming at you every single week. Follow me on Instagram at BenEllerGuitars. Support me on Patreon at patreon.com/BenEllerGuitars. You guys can also find me on Facebook at facebook.com/UncleBenEller. If you're interested in booking some one-on-one Skype lessons with me, be sure to drop me an email, benellerguitars@gmail.com. I'll get back to you as fast as I can. Thanks again so much for watching, but it's time for you to get away from the computer, put down that phone or tablet or whatever, pick up your guitar, and start speed bursting your way to success. Less clicking, more picking.